Vice President of Nigeria, Shettima, on Wednesday called for unity and collaboration among the country's leaders in order to sustain the gains of reforms by the administration of President Bola Tinubu. Speaking when President Tinubu hosted leaders of the Senate Iftar, which is the breaking of the Ramadan fast, at the new State House Banquet Hall, Shettima said the country has reached an inflection point where the bold, courageous leadership and well-thought-out policies of Mr. President and proper execution of same conspire to meet at a confluence. He also noted, while it is time for Nigerians to reap the benefits of President Tinubu's courageous decisions in critical sectors, the cooperation of political leaders is required to sustain the momentum. The Vice President drew attention to the falling food prices, declining price of petrol, and stability in forex markets, saying that they are evidence of gains of the President's bold vision and courageous decisions. Arise News analyst Dayo Sobowale joins us now to discuss the Vice President's rallying call and how this can be achieved in the midst of the stiff competition for power and its privileges. Now, Mr. Dayo, I was just saying to myself that competition for power, for me, I like to call it a zero-sum race. So how can we move from a point where it's really just about continuing to build political alliances, seeing what we can gather for ourselves, leveraging on what is obtainable, to actually carrying people along with regards to the Vice President's call for unity?
Right. He's calling for a sort of leadership in which people agree to disagree, but are still interested in the stability of the political system. You see, politics is a game of who gets what, when, and how. And when you are in government, see, you are sitting on top of the power plate. But you see, we have a presidential system of governance with separation of powers. And it is a winner-takes-all situation. Before Buhari, the predecessor of the president, the PDP was in power. They were in power. So, in a way, if you talk of the two main parties, you will see that there have been influx and outflow of leaders from both parties, so they know each other. And what he's pleading for is for political stability and peace, because it is when you have that, those two, that you can have prosperity. And when you have prosperity, you are able to reward the electorate that put you in power. That is what he's advocating for. And I think it's a step in the right direction, no matter how you look at it. There are always differences. And I dare say that we are luckier here than the US. Mm-hmm. You see, the country is divided culturally. The Democrats cannot bear to be in the same rule, literally, with the Republicans. But they were in power before. And these people are coming now, and they are turning everything that the Biden administration did, especially those with regard to this DIE, diversity, inclusion, and equity. They are dismantling everything along that. We are not like that. Although we are lucky in that somebody from the same party succeeded. But in spite of that, we could see the disturbances, real and imagined, on the eve of the election, of the last election. But this incumbent won, in spite of all that. And I'm not castigating our politicians. Some of them have been in and out of one party or the other. Mm-hmm. Get me? You may say they are driven by the lure of power, but then that's what politics is all about. I will say that what he's saying is a good call for unity, but essentially it's a plea for understanding of whatever pains people are going through now, economically, so that there will be no friction that will lead to destabilization of the political system. You may call it self-interest, but then, if the opposition, if they have their way, they will make the same plea. So nobody disturbs their tenure of office. Let's leave it at that.
All right, Mr. Sobowale, of course, we all know that context is key. Now, when it comes to looking at the reality of this unity vision, in the Nigerian context, we know that we have the regional, religious, and ethnic identities that often supersede this idea of national identity. So how do you see this playing out? How do you see us balancing this out?
Well, we have balanced it well. That's what I will tell you. And I will give you a good example. Nobody expected the political parties will float a Muslim ticket.
Okay.
Well, they flew it, and it went up, and the electorate bought it. That's on religious.
Okay.
Then there is the ethnic issue. It's not peculiar to us. You get me? But what I have always, okay, I'll use an example. Obasanjo, the former head of state, believes that you have to be a Nigerian first before you think of your family or your tribe. But what I believe, or what I was taught in the university ages ago, is that it is the love you have for your family in the first instance. Because when you are born, they say one man's brain is tabula rasa. Mm-hmm. So something to be written. The first set of people to put something on your mind are your parents.
Yes.
That's the family. It is that love for the family that when you know it, you are born with it. It's that you can translate or give to a regional area or a country. But you need to know that law first. Not that you are a Nigerian first, and then you have no affiliation or no sympathy for people of your tribe or your ethnic group. Mm-hmm. But you are managing it. That's why you have federal character. And I said it sometimes here that diversity, inclusion, and equity in the U.S. is misfired. If you apply it well here, it will, you have no racial problem. You get me now? If you respect that, we have unity in diversity as part of our motto. But if we put the diversity, we respect it. Inclusion, we bring people aboard. Economically, that's why. So that in the economic and commercial space, people can earn a living in spite of whatever government policies on the ground. And then equity, yes, we treat each other. Like Trump said, that now America is colorblind. You don't need I don't need to see your color before I appreciate you. That's color blindness, and that's meritocracy. So if we are on the way to it, although at a stage, I've said it, that I think we should disband the federal character thing, because we are it should be merit-based. Yeah. We are developed well enough to do that. And then again, when we talk of women affairs, discrimination against women, this is not America. Nigeria has passed that stage a long time ago. But because they brought this culture of DIE, people... that's where we are here now. Look at our judiciary. See the number of ladies. Go to the universities. The professors, because we have always valued education there. And I think to a large extent, we are cohabiting, we are living well with each other. Okay. What we need at the end of the day is we integrate our culture, our traditions in various regional locations into an entity called Nigeria. That's all.
Yeah, so you spoke earlier, in your response about separation of powers. And I'd always say that, the moment we lose our respect for the rule of law in a country or in a political system, it's over. Chaos, anarchy takes over. Now, holding a mirror up, to the vice president and as well, the political system that will have the politicians, the leaders of this country, holding a mirror up to them. How would you assess recent decisions? Looking at issues, for instance, what's going on in the Lagos State House of Assembly, what's happening in the Senate, amongst many other issues. When we talk about unity, and then we understand that part of maintaining unity is respecting the rule of law. It doesn't favor anyone. It is for everybody. How do you then assess these decisions and juxtapose that with what the Vice President is saying?
Well, like you rightly said, the rule of law guides the democracy. That's the import of what you have said. And you may find it funny. You know, we are a very litigious people. Even people contest elections, they know they have lost, they go to the courts. They lose, and if they lose, they say the judges have taken some bribe, that they are biased. That is not to whitewash the judges. It's not to whitewash them. They are doing their best. But then, the separation of powers does not mean the centers of power, the presidency, the judiciary, and they should be hostile to each other. They are supposed to cohabit, such that one does not unnecessarily be too big for the society. If the presidency makes a mistake, they take it to court. You get me? And in the case of the Lagos State one, you mentioned, I think part of the latest settlement in the presidency was that they should withdraw the cases in court, so that they settle it politically and legislatively, as the case may be. Yeah.
Well said, Mr. Sobowale. We appreciate your analysis and your time as always. Arise News analyst, Mr. Dayo Sobowale. Thank you so much for joining us.